A father and daughter argue about politics. Hours later, she's dead. A gun was fired. A single gunshot that would end a 23-year-old woman's life forever. But no one was charged. One country calls it unlawful killing. Another calls it not a crime. What really happened inside that quiet Texas home? Was it an accident? Was it reckless? Or was it something more? And how is it possible that no criminal charges were ever filed? Tonight, we're breaking down the tragic and controversial case of Lucy Harrison and the father who shot her. Lucy Harrison was just 23 years old. She was from Warrington, England, described by those who knew her as intelligent, passionate, and strong-willed. She had her own opinions. She wasn't afraid to voice them. In January 2025, Lucy traveled to the United States to visit her father, Chris Harrison, who was living in Prosper, Texas. It was supposed to be a visit, time with family, a chance to reconnect. But what no one could have imagined was that she would never return home. Prosper, Texas is the kind of place people describe as peaceful, suburban, quiet, low crime, not the kind of town that makes international headlines. But on January 10th, everything changed. According to reports later revealed during an inquest, Lucy and her father had a heated political disagreement. The argument reportedly centered around U.S. politics, including President Donald Trump. Now, families disagree about politics all the time. But this wasn't just a casual debate. Witness statements later described raised voices, strong emotions, tension escalating inside the home. At some point that day, Chris Harrison was handling a handgun. And then, a shot was fired. Lucy Harrison was struck. Emergency services were called, but it was too late. She died from the gunshot wound. One moment, it was a political argument. The next moment, a young woman was gone. Chris Harrison claimed the shooting was accidental. According to statements, he said he had been showing the firearm and that it discharged unintentionally.
That's our daughter. Okay. It's my daughter.
Okay.
And we were getting ready to go to the airport and we were talking about guns, and she said, "You got a gun?" I said, "Yes." I got it out and it just went off as she stood there. As I pulled it out, it went off.
Okay.
It must have been, obviously.
Did you put the gun on the bed?
I put it on the bed straight away, yeah.
Where was it at?
It was in the bedside cabinet.
Okay, you have like a little, you just keep it in there?
In a locked box,
Okay.
And we took it out to look, and just as I picked it up, it went off.
Okay.
In Texas, a state with strong gun culture and legal firearm ownership, accidental shootings, while tragic, are not unheard of. Investigators examined the scene. The case went before a Texas grand jury. And here's where the case takes a turn that shocked many people. The grand jury declined to indict. No criminal charges were filed in the United States. Legally, in Texas, that meant the case was closed. But for Lucy's family back in the United Kingdom, the story was far from over. Because Lucy was a British citizen, a coroner's inquest was held in the UK. Now, an inquest is not a criminal trial. It does not sentence people to prison. Its purpose is to determine how someone died. During the inquest, more details emerged about the confrontation that day. The coroner concluded that Lucy Harrison had been unlawfully killed. That wording matters. Unlawful killing suggests that the death resulted from actions that were criminal in nature, even if another country chose not to prosecute. The coroner described the shooting as reckless, and that conclusion reignited public debate. How could one legal system decline to charge, while another labels the same act unlawful killing? Two countries, two systems, two completely different legal outcomes. This case became more than just a family tragedy. It exposed differences between U.S. and UK legal systems. In the United States, particularly in Texas, the burden for criminal charges in accidental shooting cases can be high. Prosecutors must prove beyond reasonable doubt that a crime occurred. If jurors believe it was a tragic accident, charges may never be filed. In the United Kingdom, however, the inquest system can label a death unlawful killing even without a criminal prosecution. So what does that mean for accountability? Was justice served? Or was this a tragic example of how geography can determine legal consequences? there are still questions people ask. Why was a gun being handled during a heated argument? Was proper firearm safety followed? Should reckless handling alone be enough for criminal charges? And perhaps the most uncomfortable question of all, could this have been prevented? Political disagreements are common, but when emotions run high and weapons are present, the risk increases dramatically. One decision, one moment, one trigger pull, and a life is gone. Lucy Harrison left England to visit her father. She never made it home. A grand jury in Texas said no crime occurred. A British coroner said it was unlawful killing, and somewhere between those two conclusions sits a grieving family. This case forces us to confront uncomfortable realities. How safe are we when weapons are involved? How much responsibility comes with gun ownership? And when tragedy strikes inside a family, what does justice truly look like? What do you think? Was this a tragic accident or a reckless act that should have led to charges? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more in-depth breakdowns of complex and controversial cases like this one, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Because sometimes the most shocking crimes happen behind closed doors.